All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for a very, very inspiring success story. And this is about a real talk. So for this, may I please have the humble privilege and honor of calling up on stage Mr. Nirmalya Chatterjee, Country VP and Managing Director, Nemetschek Group. Huge round of applause for him, please, as I welcome sir on stage. Thank you so much. As we all know, he's a seasoned industry veteran with over 25 years of experience in the world of BIM and construction technology. In his current role at Nemetschek India, Nirmalya sir is spearheading the company's mission to revolutionize the Indian construction industry by empowering professionals with the tools they need to design, build, and manage sustainable and efficient infrastructure. Please give a huge round of applause once again for him, ladies and gentlemen, please. Can I have some volunteers to get the chairs sorted, please? We need 2 chairs on stage. Can we please have that quickly? We don't need it right now? Okay. So you have an AV, I believe, right? Yeah. So we will first be having the AV, and after that, I will request Sapna to take it forward. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and patience. Over to you.
Thank you. Is it my audible? All right. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. I know that I'm standing in between to the award function, and that's generally is a very tough call for any presenter to come in and before this. But what I'm trying to do today, now, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to, I have been attending this from the morning, and this encouraging discussions that has been happening about the technology, the way that needs to be, how this real estate things has to be developed further, the sustainability factors, the green aspect, all those things has been talked from the morning, okay? Now, these are the intent, and this is very good intent. Now, how we can achieve this intent, and somebody in the panels has also talked about it, that we cannot replace technology. So technology is the one which is actually going to help to fulfill this intent. And I'm representing a company which is a Nemetschek, name is Nemetschek, and we are the one which is a German-listed company. We provide technology for the AEC space. Can you please make this screen available? Okay, so we talked about is the digitalizations. India is talking about India digitalization, right? So we all do, more UPI transactions in India than maybe any other country in the world. You all agree, right? If I may ask you, how many of you has, last 1 year, has traveled in Indian railways? If you can raise your hand. Have you been troubled with Indian railways? Everybody is flying? Okay. So those who have traveled in last 1 year in the train, you might have seen and observed that no longer the TT comes with you with a big paper list to check whether your name is there or not. Nowadays, the TT comes in with an iPad. Those who are raised their hand, you will recognize that, right? So that's a digital revolution that has happened in India. So great about it. But what we are doing it for the construction. In the construction industry, we are all talking about these digitalizations, but still if you look at the construction site, we carry the paper. We may be using some AI tools at the design office. We may be using some good technology for designing aspect by the architect, by engineers. But what about we are going to do it for a paperless at the site? We still carry a paper, and paper is not environment friendly. All of us, we know that. So this is the area that Nemetschek is going to change and are trying to change to the industry, that how we can help. And you can see that the automobile industry has moved long ahead from the construction industry. And that is the reason behind we can talk all about the technology aspect, but until and unless the real digitalization's adoption is happened into the construction, we will not be match up to this industry space. So let's talk about it. What's the new need of it? So we saw that there is an AI aspect which can make an impact. So for an architect, those of you who are an architect, they know that you need to provide a different options to the project owners. There is no longer like an architect can say, hey, this is my design, you approve it. Because the owner or the project developers, he is the one who is going to decide on that. So how soon an architect can give an option to a project owners, and how much time he going to use for this different option. So there the use of the AI aspects comes in, that we will be able to provide the BIM, building information modeling. Somebody has talked about it in the morning. So this is what Nemetschek is offering, and this is where we comes in the play, that whether it is your mobile, iPad, or in the design office, we are providing this entire end-to-end solution. And then you will say that, okay, what are those legitimacy of this technology? Has this been used so far in India? And I can take one big example of the new parliament building in Delhi. We all know that how architecturally beautiful these structures are. And we are very proud that our architectural solution, Archicad, has been used for this new parliament house building. So that's the credentials that there is many projects in India our technology has been involved with, but this is the one which we are really proud of. The next, we all know that there is a revolution happens, architects are now using 2D, but when I talk with a couple of architects, when I talk with some of the developers, and I say that, okay, what you are using right now? Some of them say, oh, my engineers are still using 2D AutoCAD drawings. We are comfortable with AutoCAD. We are comfortable with 2D-based drawing. You are thinking in 3D. An architect is thinking in his mind a 3D way. You are not thinking on the lines. But when you are actually working, if you are working on a 2D drawing, how you are going to replicate and how complex this is. It is going to be much more easier if you work on a 3D environment. Now, when it's a 3D, moving from 2D to this BIM workflow process, which is a 3D-based. Now then, when some of them, they said, okay, we are also using 3D. We use some X and Y and R solution as a 3D modeling tools. Now, is that a BIM solution? Somebody has talked about it, BIM. How many of you are familiar with a terminology called BIM? Okay, many hands are raising. Good. So then you know that BIM is a process. So you can create a 3D model, but that needs to be passed through. Somebody has talked in the panel that there is a silos. The silos needs to be broken. That an architect creating a 3D model needs to pass through to this different engineering community. Then it needs to go back to the developer or the contractor that how the changes has happened. And you need to have a change management on that. And to do that, we suggest to move from 2D, 3D to a BIM standards process. The next one is, as I talked about it, break the silos. The break the silos is only happen then when we trust each other, the project stakeholders. In projects, there are a couple of stakeholders. One is an architect, one is a structural consultant, one is an MEP consultant, one may be a PMC, one is the contractor. These are the project stakeholders. How we can club together, how we can trust each other, sharing this information that I'm developing with. Instead of I'm submitting only my drawings, and you change whenever this change happens, you change on the drawing, and then I rework onto the drawing, and then I submit it again. How much time we are wasting for this? If I may ask you, that do you know that 10 years back, or 12 years back, the guy who has made the record in Olympic, in any of those athletic space, what is the time that he has taken? And the last Olympic, the time frame was the second last one, the same time. The same time, which is 12, 15 years back, was the first, is now the second one, second last. So as the time changes, our need is changing. Those who are developer present here, they know that 10 years back, when you got a project, when you start a project, your timeline for completing of the projects is not the same on today's date. Today, you have a much more complex projects, but you have a much less time to execute it. If this is going to happen, then we need to have some sort of a technology comes in between to help you to execute the projects on time. So on-time projects execution is very important. To do that, it's the only thing that you can do it is avoid the rework. And how you can avoid the rework is trusting each of the project stakeholders, sharing those technologies models from one aspect to the another, and by the process, you will be able to execute it on time because everybody is into the sync. Now, if I can move further on then everybody will agree that, okay, I am agreeing into this process, but can there be any technology company who can provide the end-to-end solution? I'm using an R brand product, which is a 3D modeling aspect. Somebody will say, okay, I'm using another product, which is for the structural analysis and design. I'm using another software company who is giving me another solution. So there is 3, 4 different technology companies. You act as a software vendor, you collect the technology, and then you use it. We are the one which is now coming, understand the pain for it, and we are changing this. We are making this the entire end-to-end solution under one umbrella. So you will be able to get from your concept stage to a project execution stage, whatever you need in a different application. So you can see that different part of the project execution is being covered with Nemetschek solution. The next. Now, how many of you are familiar with life cycle assessment of the project? Okay, a couple of hands raised. So it is very important. It is very important for a project that you should have a life cycle assessment. And more importantly, because in the cost of the project after the land is your material. Cost of material is the major one. Now, if you can have a life cycle assessment of a material of a project, and that's the control power if you hold it, you will be able to much more impactfully execute the project. So Nemetschek is bringing one-click LCA for all the solutions. We are also talking about this couple of pillars that we take to this market, particularly to those developers and the architect community. We are also now moving ahead with the green aspect. We have seen from the morning there has been talk about the sustainability factor, the green factor. And all the developers and the architects are very, very enthusiastic to get a green certificate. But many of you will know, to get a green certificate of your project, there are certain criteria that you need to follow. You need to submit your project details. So what end up you are doing it, you are hiring a consultant who's taking your project data and then validating those, and then they submit it whether it's an IGBC or any other green certificate providers. How about you can do it by yourself? How about in your project details, something options available like how your energy is measured. What is your energy simulation in your project? How about the local bylaws? Those developers present here, they might be doing in multi-city projects. So you will be agreeing with me that if you are doing a project in Bangalore, and the same project, if you're doing it in Bombay, the bylaws are different. So you need to adapt those bylaws into your project. How can you do that? Is the architect who is providing you those models or the 3D design part of it, is it compatible with the local bylaws? If not, then whole project is into risk. Now, how you can have a technology comes into play that your local bylaws could be covered when the architecture is providing this design model. So Nemetschek is coming with that solution so that you can check those rule-based things within your project system. The second one, which is very important, we talk it as an energy model. Energy model, why it is important? Because if you look at the analysis that from a project you'll get, how much energy is going to consumed by your project. If you can have that analysis from the beginning itself, you will be able to take a corrective steps. There is no point when the building is done and then you make an analysis and say, okay, this building has so much of additional consumption of energy. Why at the end? Why not at the design stage? So there is, again, the technology can come in here. Our technology can provide you those energy simulations calculations. So you can take a corrective steps from there itself. Similar way, there are a lot of case studies and success stories. I'm just giving you one example. This is one real case studies where just changing the panel, one glass panel from 2 to 3, what are the energy consumptions? It's saving about 446 kilowatts just because of one change. And our technology provides the triggers to that. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to trust on the technology and ask the technology that, okay, I want that saving. And our software will give a calculation to provide you those inputs inside. The similar way, another live projects of Germany, where it is shows single villa projects, and even that single tree has been applied to test how much is the energy savings it is possible. And we can see that 70 kilowatts, the energy savings has been possible on a single. So somebody has asked me, is this technology is for the big projects or the small projects? My answer is, whether it's a small project or a big project, doesn't matter. Technology is the same, so you can apply it as per your project's requirement. Now another thing which comes in is a kind of a green consumption in your projects. How can you have those measurable way that how much is the green space that it is there? Okay, the architect has designed it, you can see that, but is there a measurable way that you can do it? Our technology can provide that. So some of you say that, okay, I'm using our applications, then another applications, then another applications for different aspects. We say that you don't need these complex things. You really don't need those complex things. Nemetschek is coming with a one horizontal solution with a different packaging systems depending on your need. So you will get entire everything together under one umbrella. Comes to little bit on the interior space. How many of architects here? Can you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So those architects, if you are involved with the projects with some of the interior and very complex interior like this, maybe a commercial projects, maybe a hospitality projects. So you can see that different areas of your interior fit outs, if it is available within that software itself, it is make your life a lot more easier. So Nemetschek is bringing these technologies together where all your interior fit-outs within the architectural package will be available at a one click. So you will be able to make a simulation, you will be able to make a different options, giving it to your property owners, check it, validate it, and then you can apply it. So there is no time spent on this. Starting from that, going to the real rendering. I'm sure that all developers present here, you love to present your projects in a very good rendered view way, right? That's the marketing things. And it comes from the architectural 3D model. Now, when the architects are changing it, the in between to the design is changing, how many times are you going to change your rendering things? So the architects needs to have a very consistent technology. So what we have developed now is a parallel technology. So in one hand, you can see that's our platform where the architect is changing, architect is doing the different design, and the corresponding reflection of the rendering is happening simultaneously. So you don't waste your time. You will be able to get your job done as quicker as possible. The next is another option where this architect is going to provide, or the developers or the project owners wants different concept. You have only got the land, you have not yet started the projects, you are going to apply in the municipality for approving the projects. At that stage, what you need? You need a different concept of the project details. How about the architects can give you a different options of the concept stage and what is the impact of that? That's something which Nemetschek technology will going to provide you. Similar way, we can talk about it with AI implications on that. So you can apply the AI, our software within the inbuilt AI, and it will give a different options before you actually start designing the project. Okay? So that saves time. Many of you will be familiar with that, okay, I may be having a 3D model, but I need to have a drawing. And I'm traveling right now to meet a project owner, or I'm traveling right now for another project. I wanted to see what's the progress on my projects. And how you're familiar with, either you're familiar with 3D rendered images or maybe the drawing. How about you get everything together on your mobile phone? So the architect who is doing the design, you will be able to see these details in your mobile itself. So different sections of your projects, whatever you need, and then those details could be shuffled to your mobile or to your iPad, and you will be able to see the details, you can validate that. The other important aspects comes in for a developer community is the raw material. How can you have a quick BOQ generated so that you know that what is the cost of your material? So Nemetschek technology is going to provide you from the 3D model quickly the BOQ. As much you revise, automatically the revision of BOQ will come. So that saves a lot of your time. So this is where we comes in and provide these solutions for the architect as well as to the developer community. The next comes, which is the green part of it. Many of you has been applied for the green building certification. So in the green building certification, we bring in with a Solibri as a technology, which is a rule-based solution for any 3D model. You can say that, okay, my architect is using some different 3D application. They are not using Nemetschek solution. Still, can I get that? Still, can I use Nemetschek technology to get into my green building certification? We say yes. Why not? So we have a solution, Solibri, which can take any 3D model, any platform that it has been done, and it will check those starting from the area space calculations, the bylaws, the checking on the materials, everything will be possible through the use of Solibri. We are now also been associated with the green buildings part of it. So we now starting with the green building certification program. And for that, the Solibri becomes the one of the application which is going to be mandatory for anybody who is going to use the technology to get a green building certificate. The reason for it is the Solibri will give you not only on the model versions checking, but also imagine those who are developers present here. What is the percentage of your parking space consumption? How much is done by an architect? Can a solution check your 3D model and give those calculations instantly? So this is where we comes into play. We are also here to calculating on the net area ratio. Those developers present here, they may be interested. Okay, in my projects, what is my net area ratio? Most standard is 80%. So we have checked the validated projects where you can see the net area ratio is 77%. These are validated results. These are not assumptions. So from the projects, it has been validated by the software, and it gives you those aspects. So that's why we believe that is an end-to-end solutions we provide from the Nemetschek, and it will be very helpful for all the developers, architects, and the engineers community who like to have a technology-driven projects. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have some more noise for sir, please? And I'll request the console for a special AV before we move forward with a session with Sapna. I'll request sir to please kindly wait on stage. Thank you. And can we please play the video quickly? And in the meantime, we can get the chairs sorted.
Welcome to a journey of India's dynamic growth in the architecture, engineering, construction and operations industry. An industry that is playing a transformative role in the unprecedented growth of India's economy. With rapid growth and increasing competition, Indian AECO companies are embracing innovative technologies and solutions to boost their productivity, enhance quality, lower costs, and stay ahead of the curve. At the core of the Nemetschek story is a desire to go beneath the surface to understand the challenges and needs and then create a solution for it. Nemetschek has been driving digital transformation in the AEC industry for over 60 years. It is leading AEC companies into the future of digitalization with intelligent software solutions. Our responsibility towards our society and the environment drives us to create cutting-edge solutions that allow our clients to plan, build and manage buildings and infrastructure projects more efficiently and sustainably. At Nemetschek, we firmly believe in open industry standards and open BIM and empower every user in every phase of the building life cycle with the best software solutions. As a country with the largest population in the world and an emerging superpower, India's development has been on a rapid rise. As with every growth story, this too is followed by unique challenges for the AEC industry. At Nemetschek, we have focused on the specific gaps and needs of the Indian market to create innovative software solutions. As a global frontrunner focusing on the specific needs of the Indian market, we offer innovative software solutions that benefit every stakeholder for the entire AECO life cycle. Several very prestigious projects in India were realized using Nemetschek solutions. Sangat Architect Studio, New Parliament Building, Abhikalpan Business Park, Rajkumari Ratnavati Girls School, Abhikalpan Skybay, Tagore Memorial Theatre, Ahmedabad Negru Farm. As we shape the world in all dimensions, we have made it our mission to become the chosen and trusted partner for AECO and digital construction. Nemetschek is committed to delivering innovative solutions to meet every challenge and beyond. Be part of a new journey towards a better BIM solution, more cost.
Thank you so much. Huge round of applause, please. N stands for Nemetschek, N stands for Nirmalya, sir, if I can put it that way. Thank you so much. Can I please have the chairs on stage? And in the meantime, quickly, in the best interest of time, a phrase that I've repeated I don't know how many times, but then quickly calling Sapna Srivastava, editor of Reality Plus, on stage for a very special conversation with sir. Give it up for Sapna Srivastava, please. One of the pioneers of Reality Plus alongside Tripti, Kedia and the entire team, putting forward all these events. And of course, Reality Plus in their successful 20th year. So I'm sure it's going to be turning 200 very successfully very soon. Thank you so much, Sapna. Thank you so much, sir, once again. And over to you right now. Thank you, sir.
That was one fantastic presentation. And as you mentioned, our railways have become much more tech savvy. Bullet trains now we are talking about. Drawings you mentioned, how drawings, architects can have really digital drawings on their phones, on the move they can refer to them. But you've been in the industry for 25 years, more than 25 years now. In your observation or your experience, what are the top 3 challenges that are still there for this industry, the real estate and the AEC industry, in terms of adopting the technology?
My first observations is it's some sort of a myth that if I'm going to adopt technology, it's going to be huge cost. So the cost factor in the mind comes always when somebody is going to approach for a technology. But this is not the case. Technology is not that expensive. If you look into the ROI aspect of a project executions, technology gives a lot of profitability. Second aspect, challenge is the skill sets, the resource available into the market. I was present in another Bangalore event where there is an education segment, and I was talking that our education system, the engineering colleges, architect colleges, the way they are teaching, it has been from the many years. There is not change has happened. Whereas the industry has changed. The demand from the industry has happened. So there is a gap in between the 4th-year architects or structural engineers or civil engineer coming out, and then they go for industry, and the industry demands is something different. So that is a gap. This gap needs to be fulfilled. And the third one, which is very important about that when there is an adoption of the technology happens, it happens for a certain times, and then there is a drop. So people, because of the project pressure, they started doing it, and then when the project pressure comes in, they feel that, no, I don't need to learn it. I need to go back to my manual process because there is a project pressure. But actually, if they can hold back to this whole process, they will be able to execute the projects much more better way, much more faster way at the end. But the patience to have this at the beginning stage, I have seen that many times it is being a big challenge.
Okay, so one myth, which Mr. Nirmalya mentioned, is cost. People think it's very costly, we should not take it, but in the ROI of adopting the technology is something which everyone should consider. Also having the patience to see it through the entire project, because that is how it will give you the returns.
Just wanted to give you more on that, the cost aspect. We understand that India is a very cost-sensitive market, okay? So how we can have a kind of more and more architect or developers or a contractor can adopt it. So, for example, Nemetschek has come up with a package concept. So, starting from a small package to a bigger package, depending on what your projects need are. So, we are breaking down the cost so that make it much more affordable for the architects community to afford it. But at the same time, they need to have some sort of a learning, some sort of a interest to learn something new. Until unless you learn something new, you will not be able to adopt it.
You have to keep pace with the technology.
That's
You
right.
have to keep pace with the way the things are changing. One thing which really you mentioned is the skill sets. Our education system has to keep pace with the demands of the industry. I'm sure architects are sitting here, they would agree, Pony would agree that our education system has to really gear up towards that. Now, my second question is that we have spoken about the technologies. Probably architects and designers or the developers in the tier 1 cities are still aware of what the benefits of technology are. They are adopting probably slow or steady. But how do we take it to the tier 2 cities, to the tier 2 developers, tier 2 probably architectural practices? Is Nemetschek doing something for that? Like you mentioned one thing, packages.
So yeah, we understand that, and we are not very focus-oriented about the commercial aspect and not focusing only to this metro. So we have, for example, we have started with an authorized training center concept. We have started like a center of excellence concept, and this goes throughout India. Throughout India, all the cities it is going, so that first of all, what is our activity right now? We are taking the awareness level. We are doing all those activities currently to make people aware of what is available for you. If you're not aware of what is available in front of you, you will not be able to do it, check any chances. So first of all, awareness level. So we are doing this awareness level digitally, physically to all those areas throughout the India. For example, even the small C cities level in UP, we are taking to that stage. So we are not considering only in the metros, but we are taking all over India aspect.
From industry, what is the enablement or the help you're looking from the industry, in trying to create the awareness?
Well, thanks very much to the Reality Plus like a platform, I must say that. I'm not saying it just because I'm present here, but I'm see that, the kind of from the morning to this evening, the kind of panel discussion that has happened, it is something towards the awareness level itself, right? So we saw that the developers, how they feel it, the architects, how they feel it. We saw some of the technology, initiators who has been talked about it. This is a part of, kind of initiative which the awareness level are going to have. We are also taking it further level. Below to that is we are going to making a partnership with a lot of government agencies now. Okay, for example, we are now with the IT and digital ministry in the Tamil Nadu government. We are now tied up with them. We are working with the Rajasthan government. Recently, the now changeover in Maharashtra, so hopefully there is going to be some changes into their adoptions level. So we are working on to the government because we believe that until and unless we go and penetrate to the government sectors and that push comes in as a kind of a mandate, it is not going to be fulfilled. So we are doing it both in the commercial aspect, into the individual level, as well from the government sectors.
Okay, fantastic. What's your outlook for probably, last panel, one of the speakers mentioned that if you are not using technology, your business is not going to survive for next 5 years, in next 5 years. What's your outlook for the real estate industry in general for next 5 to 10 years? You've seen how it has grown over the years. And in terms of technology in real estate, next 5 to 10 years, what is your outlook?
So, if I can take the same analogy, if I remember correctly, somebody in your panel was saying that this, construction sectors is going to contribute 15% of the GDP of the India, okay, which is right now into 7% or 7.5% level. So if that's the kind of jump it is going to happen, there is bound to be a technology going to play a different role. The other aspect on today's date, throughout the world, the statistics shows that India at this moment 5th largest economy. And we are aiming towards the 3rd largest economy maybe in a couple of years from now. And there is no doubt in my mind that we are not going to reach there. The other aspect related to this, to support this is the construction segment. And today, the Indian construction sectors is the third most largest around the world. So if these are the statistics figures are true, and if we have this aim, there is definitely has to be a technology adoptions level needs to be there. It is not like a feel-good factor or should have kind of thing. It's a kind of a must-have thing for the construction sectors or the real estate developers or the architect community, whoever entered the project stakeholders who are involved with. Technology adoption is going to be a very, very mandated thing.
Okay. We were discussing earlier in the hall, you mentioned everyone is talking about sustainability. And you mentioned a lot of pointers about technology, in terms of with data that you can generate with technology, whether it is a small project or a big project, you can make big decisions about sustainability. So how technology is an enabler for sustainability?
Yeah, so definitely there, and the Nemetschek is one part of it. We are very vocal about this green revolution on that, and to that extent, we have very recently launched a green building package for all those architects community, so who likes to have their own projects to be green certified. Because to get a green certification, there are a lot of checks are there, a lot of, kind of, what is your project details, how much is a square foot, how much you have consumed, what is the green factor, how you going to measure that? Today's date is very time consuming. It's a manual process right now. We are making this much more smoother by introducing some of our technology, which is a club together and as a green building package. That's going to help any of the architects or the project developers to get their project certificate into green with the evidence-based support. So our technology is going to capture the evidence, support them to get certified for a green building project. So that's our initiative for this industry.
But is it only for certifications or actual
No. We have nothing to do with the, we are just saying we are helping you for the certification. But our software is actually good. As for example, I was showing in our technology, it can show your energy consumption. Right? It is for the cause. It is for the environment. Right? It's not about only getting a certificate.
Yes.
Certificate may be an incentive. That's okay if people get incentivized because of getting certificate.
Right.
But if we have really talked about it as a sustainable environment, if you're really passionate about green, if you really want your projects to be a green projects, then definitely you need to go into that direction. And our commitment to this architect and our commitment to the developers that we will stand by with that journey on that direction and we'll help them to achieve those aspects.
Right. What you can monitor, what you can measure is what you can save.
That's right.
So no greenwashing here. It's pure green. So thank you so much, Nirmalya ji, sharing those insights about what technology can do for the real estate industry, for the architecture and engineering industry. What are the myths you shared? Cost is actually has to be considered in many different ways, and there are cost-effective ways that architects and the industry can adopt technology, but there is no two-way that technology is the way forward for this industry. So, but we have a very, as you mentioned, the way the construction industry is growing, it's a bright future for this industry, and the technology is the way if this industry in India has to grow.
Absolutely, no
Great.
doubt about
Thank you so much, Mr. Chatterjee, for
you.
talking to us and sharing your insights. Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming over here. Give him a bigger round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I'll request you to please wait. How can we let you go like that, sir? I'll request Sapna to please kindly hand over the token of appreciation for sir. Can I please have the token of appreciation over here, please? Thank you so much, and please give it up for Nemetschek Group. Give it up for Nirmalya sir over here. Thank you so much, sir.